They said love never lies. But tonight, a single piece of paper just destroyed everything. When the DNA results dropped, Stefon Diggs stood frozen. His breath caught somewhere between disbelief and heartbreak. 2 words stared back at him like a curse, not the father. The room went silent, then exploded. Cameras flashed, phones buzzed. And the internet did what it does best, turned pain into breaking news. Within minutes, hashtags like hashtag she cheated, hashtag DNA storm, and hashtag justice for Stefon were everywhere. His name was trending in 30 countries, his face on every feed, his silence louder than any statement he could make. People wanted answers, and all eyes turned to Cardi B. But she said nothing. No post, no denial, no tearful video. Just silence. And somehow, that silence screamed louder than a confession. The world watched, split in half, those who called her a liar, and those who swore it was all a setup. The perfect couple had become the perfect scandal. And now, the question haunting every timeline isn't what happened, but what else is coming? Because when the truth hits the fan in Hollywood, it's never the end, it's only the beginning. The moment the news broke, Los Angeles felt smaller, like every whisper in the city was carrying the same name. Stefon Diggs hadn't spoken since the results came out. Not a word, not even to his closest friends. He was seen leaving his lawyer's office, face hidden behind dark glasses, hands trembling just enough for the cameras to catch it. The clip looped endlessly across every platform, slow motion, zoomed in, captioned, analyzed. People called it heartbreak. Others called it karma. But no one really knew what he was thinking when that envelope opened. Only a handful of people had been in that room, and even they said the silence was suffocating. A man who'd spent years on top of the world suddenly looked like he was falling without a net. By nightfall, his mansion had become a fortress. Security guards blocked the gates, drones buzzed overhead, and news vans lined the street. Reporters shouted questions no one answered. Inside, the lights stayed off. Insiders claimed Stefon hadn't eaten all day. He replayed that one sentence from the test report over and over. Like a nightmare he couldn't wake up from. Not the father. 3 words that tore apart his image, his trust, and the future he thought he had. There were stories about him punching a mirror, about him crying in his gym, about a broken phone tossed into the pool. Maybe none of it was true. But in this city, truth and rumor share the same heartbeat. Meanwhile, Cardi's world was spinning in a different direction. Her team was silent, her PR manager unavailable, her lawyers refusing to comment. She hadn't been seen in public since the court hearing. Fans scrolled through her old posts, searching for clues, the captions, the emojis, the timing. One photo from months ago suddenly went viral again. Cardi holding her baby close, smiling at something off camera. The comments turned savage overnight. Whose kid is it then? She fooled him and us. Say something. Every hour, the threat grew uglier. Some defended her, saying this was just another media trap. Others demanded the truth as if they were owed it. The internet didn't want justice, it wanted blood. Somewhere deep inside a studio in New York, Cardi was reportedly breaking down. One insider said she hadn't stopped pacing for hours, that she kept muttering. They weren't supposed to find out. Another said she was planning to go live, to clear everything up. But her lawyers begged her to stay quiet. They told her the damage could still be managed, that silence was safer than speaking. Yet silence was killing her. Every minute she stayed offline, someone else rewrote her story. The woman who once controlled every narrative was now trapped in one she couldn't edit. By the second day, the scandal had mutated into something bigger than both of them. Old clips of their interviews resurfaced, the laughter, the promises, the moments fans thought were real. Now, every smile looked fake, every touch staged. One podcast host claimed they had exclusive proof that the relationship had been rocky for months. Another gossip account hinted that the DNA test was just a start, that someone else, another man in the industry, might be involved. No one had evidence, but in the court of public opinion, proof isn't necessary. Only outrages. Late that evening, a mysterious audio file appeared online. A deep male voice, blurred and distorted, said, "You told me it was handled. You said he'd never find out." A female voice, shaky but familiar, replied, "I didn't think he'd do the test." The file was only 10 seconds long, but it detonated like a bomb. Millions listened, millions shared. No one could confirm who was speaking, but everyone thought they knew. Within an hour, hashtag the audio leak was trending. Stefon's team issued a denial, calling it AI-generated slander, but that didn't matter. The clip had already become legend. In a world addicted to chaos, people didn't want clarity. They wanted a show. TikTok creators broke the clip into pieces, analyzing background sounds like detectives in a thriller. "You can hear a baby crying in the distance," one user said. "It's definitely her." Others dissected the pauses, the tone, the guilt. Each new theory went viral. feeding the beast of speculation that no one could control. Behind closed doors, brands were panicking. Contracts were being reviewed, campaigns paused, endorsements quietly erased. A source close to a major fashion label confirmed they had pulled Stefon's upcoming feature. Until further notice, Cardi sponsors were no less cautious. One deleted every photo of her overnight. In less than 48 hours, their million-dollar empire had turned to dust. The people who once cheered for them were now tearing them apart with hashtags and memes. And through it all, the two people at the center of the storm said nothing. No posts, no statements, just silence. But somewhere, someone was still talking, an anonymous account that claimed to have Exhibit F. The final piece of evidence. The account posted a cryptic message: "You've seen the test. Now see the truth." It had no profile picture, no followers, and disappeared within minutes. But screenshots spread faster than the original post. Everyone wanted to know what Exhibit F was. Another file, another leak. Or the final proof that would end everything. The story was no longer about love or betrayal. It was about survival. And in a world that lives for spectacle, both of them knew the worst was still to come. The city didn't sleep that night. Every radio host, every late-night stream, every gossip page was on the same topic: Exhibit F. Nobody knew what it was, but everyone wanted to believe it would end the chaos. Outside Stefon's mansion, cameras flashed through the darkness, hoping for a glimpse, a quote, a breakdown. Inside, the curtain stayed drawn. He was sitting on the floor of his study, surrounded by crumpled papers and empty water bottles. His phone kept lighting up. Managers, friends, reporters, strangers. He didn't answer a single one. The only thing he opened was a folder his lawyer had sent earlier that day. Inside were screenshots, timestamps, and bank records he couldn't stop reading. Each number felt like another betrayal. Another piece of a puzzle he never wanted to solve. Around 3 in the morning, he turned on the TV. Every channel was replaying his own pain. The video of him crying in court. The leaked audio, the paparazzi shots. He stared at the screen until his reflection blurred into static. Then came the headline running across the bottom. Anonymous source claims Exhibit F will drop in 24 hours. He laughed once, short, bitter, exhausted. Of course it will. He whispered. Across town, Cardi sat in her living room, the glow of her phone lighting her face. She hadn't spoken to anyone except her attorney and her best friend, who begged her not to open social media. But she couldn't resist. She scrolled through endless posts calling her a liar, a manipulator, a fraud. Some were cruel, others heartbreakingly sympathetic. Between the noise, one post caught her eye, a grainy photo of a USB drive labeled F. The caption read, "The truth will drop at noon." Her stomach twisted. She knew what was on that drive, and she knew it wasn't supposed to exist anymore. Her PR team was already in crisis mode, drafting statements, preparing denials. One of her lawyers warned, if this file leaks, it won't just hurt your career. It could ruin others too. But Cardi wasn't thinking about careers or headlines anymore. She was thinking about the night the file was created, about the promises she made and broke, about the people she trusted who were now selling pieces of her life to the highest bidder. She felt the walls closing in. By sunrise, the internet was a battlefield. Countdowns appeared on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, all ticking toward noon. Fans live-streamed reactions before anything had even happened. Conspiracy accounts started linking names, claiming Exhibit F connected the scandal to a much larger circle: producers, agents, even another artist with a hidden past. Theories spiraled until no one could tell what was fact and what was fiction. But that didn't matter. In the digital age, attention is truth. In the digital age, attention is truth. At exactly 11:57 a.m., thousands of people stared at their screens, and then it happened. A video appeared on an anonymous site, less than 3 minutes long. It started with a phone recording, dim lighting, muffled voices. A man's voice, calm but firm, said, "This isn't about love anymore. It's about control." Then Cardi's voice, shaky, replied, "You promised no one would find out." The camera shifted, showing a flash of a document with both their signatures, a date, and a bank logo. The audio distorted, then cut off. The screen faded to black with the words, "Exhibit F, the deal," within seconds. The video was everywhere. News anchors called it career-ending. Fans called it justice. Lawyers called it inadmissible. But no one could deny it. The damage was done. The clip hinted at secret payoffs, hidden accounts, and a cover-up that reached far beyond a relationship. Reporters camped outside federal buildings, speculating about new investigations. Talk shows debated whether it was all a publicity stunt. Stefon watched the video alone, fists clenched, jaw tight. He didn't cry this time. He just stared until the screen went dark. Then he picked up his phone and called someone he hadn't spoken to in months. "I'm ready to talk," he said quietly. On the other side, his agent whispered, "Are you sure?" Once you do, there's no going back. Stefon closed his eyes. There's nothing left to lose. At the same moment, Cardi's lawyer burst into her house, phone in hand, panic written all over his face. "It's everywhere," he said. She nodded, numb. "I know." Her phone was vibrating nonstop. Notifications flooding in, offers for interviews, threats, apologies, betrayal. She looked out the window at the reporters gathering on her lawn and whispered they wanted a story. Now they'll get one. The day ended with both of them trending again for opposite reasons. Stefon was praised as brave, Cardi was labeled broken. But behind every comment, there was a hunger for more, another leak, another twist. Nobody realized that in the shadows of that chaos, a third figure was watching everything unfold. The same anonymous account that posted Exhibit F uploaded one final message before vanishing. "You think it's over, wait for G," and just like that, the cycle began again, the anticipation, the fear, the thrill. The world didn't want resolution, it wanted the next disaster. And somewhere between guilt and fame, both Stefon and Cardi understood the cruelest truth of all. Scandals don't end, they evolve. The night after Exhibit F dropped, the city moved like it was holding its breath. The video had been taken down from every platform, yet somehow everyone had a copy. People replayed it in dark rooms, mouths half open, trying to catch one more syllable from the distorted audio. Even the major networks that condemned it couldn't resist showing a frame or two. The words the deal had turned into a symbol of everything no one wanted to admit about fame, that every smile had a contract behind it. Stefon spent the evening at his kitchen table, surrounded by takeout boxes and unopened letters. His phone buzzed every few minutes with calls from lawyers and networks, offering exclusive interviews. He didn't answer any of them. He was listening to the rain against the window, thinking about how quiet the house had become. It wasn't just empty, it felt erased. The walls that once echoed with laughter and music now carried only headlines. Somewhere between exhaustion and resolve, he opened his laptop and began typing. The world wanted his side, and this time he wasn't going to let anyone else tell it for him. Across town, Cardi sat in front of a vanity mirror, her makeup half done, her eyes red. Her stylist whispered that cameras were outside again, that reporters had started camping by the gate. She didn't react. Her manager was on speakerphone, explaining brand withdrawals, lost deals, broken partnerships. "It's not the end," he kept saying. But she knew better. Every apology she rehearsed sounded fake. Every explanation sounded like another excuse. What she couldn't say publicly was that Exhibit F hadn't been the full story. There were parts of that recording that never aired, names that had been edited out, people with enough power to make evidence disappear. And she had proof, locked away on a hard drive hidden somewhere no one would ever think to look. By the next morning, the world had turned Exhibit F into religion. Hashtags became movements. One camp demanded that Stefon be cleared of all lies. Another called Cardi a symbol of betrayal. Influencers started selling merch with their faces printed side by side like rival saints. Late-night hosts cracked jokes, pretending not to feel guilty about it. The scandal wasn't news anymore. It was entertainment. Ratings doubled as revenue spiked, and the people living it could only watch their pain turn into profit. At noon, Stefon finally broke his silence. He posted a single black and white video, filmed in his living room. No music, no production, just him. "I've been quiet because I didn't want to feed the fire," he said. But silence doesn't protect the truth. It only buries it. His voice cracked, raw and unfiltered. "I love someone who used me. I trusted people who sold me. I'm done being your headline." Then he paused, looking straight into the lens. "And to the person leaking these files, I know who you are." The clip ended there within minutes. The internet melted. Every comment section screamed with speculation. Who was he talking about? Was it Cardi? Was it one of her team? Or was it someone entirely different? The mysterious end from the earlier exhibits. That night, a new account appeared online. Under the name of The Witness, its first post was just text, "He's right, but he doesn't know everything." Attached was a countdown, 72 hours. The timing matched the last time a leak had appeared. Fans and journalists went feral. Threads exploded with theories connecting dots that may never have existed. Some believed that The Witness was part of Stefon's team. Others thought it was Cardi herself trying to twist the story. No one noticed that both of them had gone completely offline. Behind the curtain of fame, two very real people were falling apart. Stefon's lawyer begged him to stay quiet, to let the investigations handle it. Cardi's publicist told her to leave the city, at least for a while. Neither listened. Stefon flew to New York the next morning. Cardi booked a private flight to Miami. By coincidence or fate, they both ended up in the same hotel chain, 2 cities apart, haunted by the same screens. They watched coverage of themselves like spectators at their own funeral. On the second night, something unexpected happened. A journalist released an unedited transcript of Exhibit F, longer, clearer, and completely different from the version that had gone viral. In this version, the male voice wasn't Stefon's. The document on screen was shown to be a mock-up, not a real bank file. The leak that had burned the world might have been fabricated after all. The truth, it seemed, was even messier than anyone imagined within hours. The same people who had crucified Cardi started questioning everything. Was she framed? Was Stefon manipulated? And who had enough reach to forge evidence so cleanly that even experts believed it? As the headlines flipped, the mysterious account posted one last message: the game ends when they both lose. Then it vanished. The internet erupted with panic, excitement, and fear. In the chaos, a live stream appeared for less than a minute. A shaky camera showing a storage unit full of folders labeled G, H and I. The clip ended with a whisper, "Next drop tomorrow." Stefon stared at the footage in disbelief. Cardi's phone fell from her hand. Whatever had started as a scandal between two people had become something far larger. A weaponized story controlled by someone else entirely. And in that moment, both of them understood the same thing. The truth wasn't just out there. It was being written in real time by someone who knew exactly how to keep the world watching. The world is still watching, waiting, refreshing screens like it's an addiction that can't be cured. Everyone wants closure, but closure doesn't trend. Every second, a new theory drops, a new exclusive surfaces, and every viewer becomes part of the storm. Maybe that's the real twist. This was never just their story. It's ours. We're the ones keeping the fire alive, feeding it with clicks, comments, and curiosity. We build the villains and crown the victims. We demand honesty, but only believe what shocks us more. Somewhere right now, another countdown is starting. Another file is being prepared, and another name is about to break. Maybe Exhibit G is real. Maybe it's not. But does it even matter anymore? In a world where proof can be edited and pain can be packaged, the line between truth and theater is gone. The only thing left is the show, and it doesn't stop when the credits roll. It just reloads. So now, it's your turn. What do you believe? Was Stefon betrayed or played? Was Cardi the mastermind or the scapegoat? Drop your verdict in the comments, because every opinion adds another layer to this wildfire. Hit that like button if you think Exhibit G will change everything. And make sure you subscribe, because when the next leak drops, we'll be right here breaking it down, frame by frame, truth by truth, lie by lie. Don't look away. The next chapter is already being written. And trust me, you won't want to miss who writes it.